Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack an incredibly intense yet almost entirely universal urge. You know what I'm talking about, right? That sudden, powerful instinct to just drop everything and run away. We are going to completely break down the psychology of escapism. And yeah, it's a pretty heavy thought, isn't it? To literally just leave everything behind. But we're going to look under the hood, examine the biological and cognitive mechanics of it, and figure out exactly what our minds are doing when this intense urge strikes.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been sitting at your desk, stuck in absolutely awful traffic, or maybe even just standing in the grocery store aisle staring at a wall of cereal, and suddenly you feel this overwhelming, almost magnetic desire to just walk away? And I mean truly walk away. To buy a one-way ticket to somewhere you've never been, completely abandon your daily routines, turn off your phone permanently, and just escape your current life. Well, if you're nodding your head right now, I want to assure you, you are absolutely not alone. It's a genuinely startling feeling when it hits, just this sudden flash of desire to hit the eject button on reality.
Now, the most important thing you need to know right off the bat is that it's a recognized psychological phenomenon. Seriously, it is not a sign of personal failure. It doesn't mean you're broken, and it definitely doesn't mean you've built a terrible life. Actually, the urge to run away is a deeply embedded psychological mechanism. By examining the psychology of escapism, we learn that our brains are incredibly complex machines, and they come with built-in pressure valves. Thousands of years ago, when we were overwhelmed by a threat, our fight or flight response kicked in to literally save us from a physical predator. Today, that exact same biological hardware is reacting to a flooded inbox, financial stress, or a toxic work environment. When we feel that sudden urge to disappear, it's really just our ancient mind trying to operate a very modern pressure valve.
So, moving into the urge to run and how we actually recognize that feeling. A really crucial aspect of this phenomenon is that we only sometimes feel like leaving everything behind. I want to highlight that word, sometimes. This isn't a constant, unbroken state of being for most people. Instead, it hits us in these massive, overwhelming waves. You might go months feeling perfectly grounded, totally present in your daily routine, and then out of nowhere, bam, a wave crashes over you. Why does that happen? Well, it all comes down to cumulative stress and what psychologists call the threshold effect. Your brain can handle a remarkable amount of daily friction, but it's always keeping a running tally. You're completely fine until you aren't. It's situational. It's triggered by an accumulation of cognitive load. And honestly, just recognizing that ebb and flow is the very first step in understanding your own mind's relationship with escapism.
Okay, so let's define true escapism. What exactly are we running from?
At its core, escapism is the psychological tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities. Now, notice the shift here. We're moving from the raw emotional empathy of feeling overwhelmed into a much clearer analytical space. See, your brain is the ultimate problem-solving engine. When reality becomes unpleasant, and in modern psychological terms, that basically means chronic stress, severe monotony, or just massive emotional taxation, your brain identifies it as a literal threat to your long-term well-being. It recognizes cognitive overload. So that intense desire to leave everything behind, that is simply your brain calculating the absolute fastest possible route to relief. It's a highly calculated protective tendency, even if the thought itself feels incredibly chaotic at the time. Let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind it, the actual mechanism of escape. There is a massive, massive psychological difference between everyday distractions and true escapism. Look, we all engage in mild, temporary mental breaks, right? I'm talking about doom scrolling on your phone, binge watching a new show, getting totally lost in a video game. That's essentially microdosing relief. But then we have the profound psychological urge to completely abandon your current reality. This is not just taking a quick break. This is craving a total system reboot. It's basically the difference between stepping out of a crowded room for a quick breath of fresh air and wanting to literally burn the whole house down and move to a different country. We're exploring that intense, absolute extreme today, where the brain decides a simple distraction just isn't going to cut it anymore.
When we hit that extreme, it is simply the mind seeking immediate, drastic relief. I actually want you to think of this urge like a dashboard warning light in your car. When the check engine light comes on, you don't get mad at the light, do you? No, the light is just doing its job. It's telling you something under the hood needs immediate attention. The psychology of escapism frames this intense urge to run away as your brain's warning signal flashing bright red. And what's under the hood? Well, it's usually a dangerous buildup of cortisol from chronic anxiety, severe decision fatigue where you literally cannot make one more choice, or just deep, deep emotional exhaustion. Your mind is screaming that it desperately needs relief from its current crushing burden. Which brings us to the idea of leaving everything behind, the ultimate escape.
So, the really crucial point here is breaking down the core psychological drivers that explain exactly why we feel like abandoning everything. First off, we have the feeling of being completely overwhelmed by reality. This is sensory and cognitive overload. Basically, the inputs of modern life are firing way faster than your brain can actually process them. Secondly, the mind is actively seeking psychological relief by lowering its allostatic load. And if you're not familiar, that's just a fancy term for the physiological wear and tear on the body from chronic stress. Third, it's all about disconnecting from current pressures, silencing the constant noise of expectations, bills, relationships, and all those daily responsibilities that keep your nervous system totally hijacked. And finally, the desire for a total blank slate. That right there is the true magic of leaving everything behind. The powerful, intoxicating fantasy of an ego-depleted brain. It's the illusion that if we just step into a void, we can instantly rewrite our own existence without carrying a single ounce of our current baggage.
This psychology of escapism and why we sometimes feel like leaving everything behind. Understanding this mechanism gives us incredible power over it. It totally validates an experience that can honestly feel pretty isolating or even shameful. When we recognize that wanting to leave everything behind is tied directly to cognitive overload, stress thresholds, and literal ancient survival mechanisms, we can finally stop judging ourselves for feeling it. It's a deeply human psychological experience. Once we understand that the brain is really just trying to protect itself from completely burning out, we can start addressing the root causes of our exhaustion rather than, literally packing our bags and fleeing into the night.
Which leaves us with this final thought-provoking question. When you feel that massive wave crash over you, when you just want to walk away from it all, is your urge to leave a built-in biological survival mechanism functioning exactly as it should to protect your brain? Or is it a glaring symptom of a modern life that simply demands way too much of us? Reflect on your own relationship with escapism, and I promise you, the next time you feel the intense urge to run, you're going to know exactly what your mind is trying to tell you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the fascinating psychology that drives everything we do.